Police, Chief Ted Cook. And Chief, I understand y'all had a little adventure yesterday involving a stolen car, a stolen gun, and a chase through the middle of Leeds.
We did. Officers were responding to a burglary alarm call over on Maitland Avenue, and as the officer was approaching the house, a vehicle came past, and he could tell that the two occupants were squatted down in the car trying to hide, it appeared, and almost hit his vehicle. So he radioed to the second car coming with him, which was right down the road, to try to stop that car. And he proceeded on to where the alarm call was at. As the second unit coming started to get behind that car, it started fleeing, ran from it. Chased it for a short distance over towards Vivian and all, and they lost track of it for a few minutes after it crossed Vivian, across the parkway on Vivian, and managed to pick it up again along, I think, Charles Barkley Avenue, over in that general area. The car ran over into Moton Park at the Pavilion, and then turned and ran through the fence, outfield fence of the baseball field in Moton Park, and then across and exited the fence on the side of by the street on Moton, and cut across in front of the old middle school there, and eventually stopped at Douglas and Ross, and the two occupants jumped out and ran. And actually, it was Sergeant Scoggin was behind him. He was able to keep them in sight down Ross a little while before they fled through some houses and into the trees and behind the houses. And the other car on duty went into Cedar Grove Apartments and saw a guy running behind the buildings, and they were two people in that car, because that was one of our officers and then his rookie. He's on a training car right now, as a matter of fact. They split up and went around either side of the building and actually caught both the guys behind the building, and literally saw one of them throw a gun down when they stopped them right there. Further investigation found that the original call, the alarm call at the house, was a good burglary of that residence on Maitland. Running the tag, we found out that the car was stolen from the Center Point area of Jefferson County that morning, and it was one of those stolens where the owner of the car had actually gone out and cranked it and to let it warm up on these cold mornings, and when they came back out, it was missing. They ran the two weapons that were found, because they saw one of the suspects throw a gun, and then after they took the two guys into custody, got them handcuffed and secured, were looking around to see what else might have been thrown, and found a second gun. So of the two guns recovered there, one of them had been reported stolen in Talladega. So we got those two guys in custody. They were 17-year-old, both of them 17-year-old males. Secured them, brought them back to the station for processing. Went to the car, getting ready to process that scene, and doing an inventory of the vehicle, we found items that had been taken in the burglary from Maitland Avenue, or Maitland. And so we had a direct connection back to the burglary, as we knew, but it was that kind of direct link that we needed. And actually found two different kind of pieces of our items that were taken from that burglary. So, being that both the suspects were 17 years old, normally we have to charge those as juveniles and go to juvenile court. But because we could connect the guns with both of them, and that they used those during the commission of the burglary, the detectives were able to actually charge them both as adults. So we have two 17-year-olds charged as adults. Both of them right now are facing charges of burglary first degree and receiving stolen property first degree.
Is there any other charges that might be filed later?
There are. There's a number of charges, misdemeanor range, that we're looking at getting laid down the road. They include possession of marijuana, criminal mischief, and probably criminal trespass for the damage they did at Moton Park to the fences, and also to the sod and the grass in the baseball field.
Chief, so obviously these guys got around. The gun was stolen in Talladega. The car was stolen in Center Point. Were they operating in Leeds or just coming through?
Well, they both lived in the Center Point area, pretty close to where the vehicle was stolen. The story on the gun that was stolen out of Talladega is that the young man told us he bought it from someone he had met while he was in juvenile detention. Where exactly they were at that time, I don't know. Why were they in Leeds? There is someone that, again, they used a street name for this person that lives here in Leeds that they were coming to see. That person actually was busy, I believe, in school, so that they weren't able to get connected, and so they were out looking for something else to do when they decided to break into that house.
So it was more a crime of opportunity, I guess.
That's it exactly. As a matter of fact, they told us that they saw the resident leaving the house and decided to go break into that one and try to get some money for their running around.
So nobody was in the house at the time?
Not at the time, no.
So we've got charges filed. What's the next step?
Well, we're going to go back to the magistrate, the DA's office down in Jefferson County, and try to get those misdemeanor charges as well. Both those young men were housed overnight at family court, Jefferson County Family Court for us, pending getting those felony warrants as adults today, and they are actually either have been or in the process of being transferred from family court down to Jefferson County Jail.
Think of anything else, Chief?
Well, I would like to say that the officers really did a great job, and I couldn't be more proud of them. That was pretty intense situation. You know, we had a burglary in progress, or that had just happened. We had a car chase over a fairly significant number of streets in town, and there wasn't any damage other than the fence that the suspects rode into. And then we had two suspects that now are charged with very serious crimes, burglary first degree and receiving stolen property first degree, that were armed when the officers approached them, and we were able to take them into custody without any incident or with anyone getting hurt at all. There's some damage to the ball field that we're going to see if we can't work on getting some sort of compensation back from them, and when we charge them with that, and then there was damage to the stolen vehicle, obviously, when they ran through the fence. But other than those things, there was the damage to the fence, the damage to the car. Otherwise, there wasn't any significant property damage, and there weren't any injuries to anyone. So to have a car chase end successfully without significant damage or an accident, take two armed felony suspects into custody without anyone getting hurt, it was a significant accomplishment. And the day shift, Sergeant Scoggin, Officer Hall, Officer Taylor, and Officer Smith really did a great job on all of that and coordinating. And then we had the peripherals. You know, Lieutenant Collier got involved, and Detective Holman, Detective Ebner. We wound up with essentially 3 or 4 different scenes. So it stretched our patrol resources out significantly. We actually had to call some of the guys at home and ask them to come in and help answer calls for a little bit, because we had the house broken into scene. We had where the car was located. We had 2 suspects in custody. We wound up having to bring back and secure in the holding cell. And then we had the scene where the stolen weapons were, and we were documenting recovery of all of that. So took a little while to sort through, and took a lot of manpower that we had to call in extras, but everybody pitched in together, and I think we're going to have a really good, successful prosecution on that case, on these cases.
Sounds like y'all did a great job, Chief. Hopefully we won't have that much excitement anytime soon.
Well, that's actually, you know, the second time in less than a month that someone in a stolen car has driven it to Leeds and wound up getting caught. So we're having some successful conclusions to that, and just goes along with the hard work that all of the men and women here in the police department have been doing.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.